Hey, what's going on, guys? Today we're going to be going over all of the Nexomon starters and their evolutions. This video is specifically going over Nexomon 1 as it is launching on consoles on September 17th. If you're looking for a video covering the Nexomon Extinction starter evolutions, I have got you covered with this video, which will be linked in the description. Nexomon, if you don't know, is a monster taming Pokemon-like RPG that features a wide variety of creatures to both capture and utilize in battle, a story-driven narrative, and more. Upon starting your journey, you're going to be given the choice of one of 7 starters, and I do know how important it is to many people that they know what their starter is going to evolve into before taking it on their team. There's nothing worse than picking a starter only to find out that you don't like its final form, so this video will act as a resource to new tamers. That said, if you do enjoy Nexomon content or content regarding the monster taming genre in general, definitely subscribe to this channel because we cover these types of games as our chief focus. And with that said, let's dive right in. Alright, so like I stated before the intro, there are 7 starters in Nexomon, 1 for each of the 7 types. If you're a Nexomon Extinction veteran, then you might notice a difference here as that game had 9 starters and 9 types to coincide with that. These types include normal, water, fire, plant, electric, mineral, and wind. Psychic and Ghost are exclusive to Extinction as of right now and will most likely continue to appear in future games, but with Nexomon 1, think of it like the Steel and Dark type in Pokemon, which weren't introduced until Generation 2. Same sort of idea here. Another note is that unlike Extinction, these Nexomon don't actually have database entries, so we'll be discussing their stat spreads and appearances, but unfortunately there's no little snippet of lore this time around. Anyways, first up we have Valezi, the normal type starter that clearly seems to be quite the laid-back individual, seeing as its name is derived from Vulpes, which is a red fox, and lazy because, I mean, look at those eyes. This guy has every reason not to do anything productive, memorized, so don't be surprised if he asks you for alcohol money if you choose him. Its stats favor attack, but are pretty rounded nonetheless. At level 16, it's going to evolve into Vulpep. After finally growing up, it's no longer a lazy bum, and instead has a little pep in its step, if you will. This is a much more outgoing Nexomon and hopefully won't bug you for drinks, but seems like one of those high-energy, overly positive people, so get ready for that. Finally, at level 32, it's going to evolve into Kitsunox, a name derived from kitsune, aka a word with several different Japanese meanings and implications, including divine fox, demon fox, and shape-shifting fox. The latter part of its name is probably just a derivative of fox itself. One advantage to us covering the original Nexomon is that we have some interesting descendants that have risen in Nexomon Extinction that we can compare them to. Remember Rapnux from Extinction? Looks oddly familiar, doesn't it? It seems like over the thousands of years of tyrant-driven wars, it evolved to become a warrior capable of utilizing swords in combat. Next up, we got the mineral type starter being Blizzo. Its name is derived from the word blizzard and is likely based off of the Yeti or abominable snowman, which is pretty cool and an interesting design choice in and of itself. With how types work in Nexomon, there is no ice type, so given this Nexomon's icy exterior, I could also see it being a water type because some water type Nexomon are actually ice based, but nevertheless, this guy is a bit slower than the previous starter and is much more bulky in terms of its stats. At level 16, it evolves into Blizzbrow. Blizzbrow is based off of the words blizzard and brow because, I mean, look at this thick, hairy unibrow. I mean, it's still better than literally having your name based off of your big-ass nose, but I digress. Its name could also refer to the color brown, as it does have some what seem to be either brown fur patches or patches of dirt or earth protruding, likely representing its mineral typing. At level 36, it's going to evolve into Blizzloo, and I mean, come on, look at this dude. He legit skipped leg day and somehow managed to isolate his pecs. Bench press? Nah. Can't get those secondary and or tertiary muscles involved. It's chest day and nothing else every day. Anyways, its name derives again from blizzard, and I'm assuming igloo because, you know, it's snow and it's a Yeti. You may recognize its descendant, Blizzstrong, from Nexomon Extinction. There was an in-game event where you were attacked by some, so it's probably one of the more recognizable of the Nexomon Extinction starter descendants. Personally, I'm a bigger fan of Blizzstrong myself. How about you guys? Next up, we have the Wind type starter line, and my personal favorite of the bunch, hence why I picked it for our Nexomon Let's Play. First up is Fethra, this very cool flying serpent whose name derives from the words feather. And for the Ra at the end, I have a few words in mind, such as Cobra or Hydra, but despite it being a snake, it doesn't sort of fit these typical descriptions. So I was thinking perhaps Aurora, because the northern lights are something that are seen at high altitudes. If you have another theory as to what the Ra stands for, definitely let me know. Its stats favor attack. At level 16, it'll evolve into Tempestra, which is made up of the words Tempest, which refers to a violent windstorm, and again that Ra, which still sort of bewilders me a little bit. That said, its design is basically what you'd expect from a natural progression to its pre-evolution. It's a little bigger, it's more rough around the edges, etc. At level 32, it evolves into one of my favorite Nexomon of all time, Draclone. Draclone's name is derived from the words dragons and cyclone, and is clearly based off of the serpentine dragons oftentimes found in Chinese mythology. Its design is super sleek and menacing, all packed into one. Its descendant present within Nexomon Extinction is called Hyphoon, which also looks absolutely majestic. Hyphoon makes me wonder if the Ra in Tempestra and Fethra was instead Hydra, because here you have the HY mixed with Typhoon, but I can't entirely be sure because Typhoon also has a Y in it, and the H could just refer to hurricanes, which Hyphoon are said to live within. Next on the list is the water starter, which is named Bevy, which derives from the word beaver. Interestingly enough, the word bevy itself refers to a group of assemblage, which could perhaps refer to many bevy working together in their natural habitats to create dams. At level 16, it'll evolve into Barver, which seems to be a play on the word beaver, with the second half clearly being based on beaver itself, and the bar at the beginning is a little up in the air for me. Perhaps a wooden bar. If it was burr, like B-E-R, I'd say lumber or timber, but yeah. Either way, this one's looking a little spunky like an edgy teenager. At level 30, it evolves into Bedam. Bedam is a combination of the words beaver and of course dam, aka its home, and it's just chilling here with this probably very heavy log on its shoulder, like it's no big deal. This line actually does not get a feature in Extinction via the extinct Nexomon or any sort of similar looking Nexomon, so there's no direct descendant to compare to. I guess its dam couldn't protect it against the Tyrant Wars. Next up, we got the fire starter, that being Sprunk, a combination of the word skunk, and I'm assuming either spiral because of its tail, or spray because that's what skunks do. I really like this one's design personally. I feel as though it's a good mix of both cool and cute, and I could easily see it being one of the most popular starters amongst fans. Its stat distribution seems to favor attack and HP. It evolves to X-Punk at level 17. X-Punk's name likely derives from explosion because it's a fire type, and skunk like the previous. It has this strange fire flower on its chest, and that does pop up again when it evolves to level 34. Betty Doom is the final evolution of this fire type line, and its name derives from doom and possibly fetid, which is a word that describes someone with an unpleasant odor. This makes sense because it's a skunk. This one does not have any known descendants in Nexomon Extinction, and you can see the flower again is on its tail this time. Next up, we have the electric type starter, Velo Kitty, a Nexomon that has a name that derives from velocity and kitty and conspicuously rhymes with Hello Kitty. Its name is appropriate given that it's the fastest of the starters, albeit by only 1 point, with it being at a 68 base speed versus Valezi in second place, who has a 67 base speed. At level 14, it'll evolve into Aka or Asa. I believe this name comes from the words accelerate, which fits since its pre-evolution uses the word velocity, which means that both refer to movement of some kind, and cat is my best guess for the CA, but if you guys have another idea, let me know. Design-wise, it just looks like a spikier and slightly older version of its pre-evolution. At level 36, it evolves into Jita. Jita is a pretty easy one, as it likely refers to Jolt or Jewel and Cheetah respectively. It unfortunately does not seem to have any descendants in Nexomon Extinction either, but we got Voltaic in that game, so it's all good. And finally, the last starter of the bunch is the plant type line, starting with Petril, which comes from the words petal and likely aril, which is a brightly colored cover of a seed, which is usually a rising. At level 17, it evolves into Frilia. Frilia is likely a combination of the words flower and reptilia, which is the correct term for the reptile class of animal. It's looking like this Nexomon is a result of some messed up situation where a lizard actually got its head stuck in a flower, and it was just like, screw it, I'm a plant type now. It evolves at level 36. Corozard is its final evolution and the final Nexomon on this list. Its name comes from the word corolla, which can refer to certain petals in a flower, and lizard because it's a lizard. This one actually does have a descendant available in Nexomon Extinction called Florozard, which looks to be more of a feminine version. I could have actually seen these two existing in the same game, with one being the sort of Gallade and the other being the Gardevoir of the same line. And there you have it, guys. These are all 7 starters in Nexomon 1, all of their evolutions, and some extinction variants for good measure. This video took a lot of time to put together, and I'm really proud of how it turned out. So if you are a fan of Nexomon content, definitely make sure to subscribe to this channel where I have tons of Nexomon videos planned, both leading up to and post-launch. I even have some videos planned for the long term that I think you guys will enjoy as well. There are a lot more videos like this planned, ones going over the various legendaries, and perhaps even going over all of the extinction versions of previous Nexomon as well, because there are some that, while not directly connected, seem to have evolved from the previous. You guys can also follow me on Twitter and check out our monster taming Discord. All links will be in the description, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.